everybody, it's Christine and I am joining you today with a layout just for fun. I am going to be playing with the Puppy Love collection from Doodlebug Design, and partially inspired by our dog is off having surgery today, so we're kind of missing her around here, so it felt like a good day to play with that collection and some cute pictures of her. So I am starting off with a big circle. It's about 9.5 inches. And I am using my laser square to get it centered on the layout. I didn't measure very well ahead of time, so this takes a little time for me to figure out exactly the distance I want it and so on and so forth, but that's okay. That shows you the true part of my process. I am not good at thinking ahead of time. I've gotten better since doing videos, so I have to admit that. I do plan a little bit more, but so I am going to mount this brown paper onto this red background. The red background has like little monochromatic hearts on it. Kind of gives it a pinkish tinge a little bit, but it still works. And then I'm using a brown wood grain paper for the circle. And then I really liked this paper in the collection that looks like Scrabble and has all these dog words. So I am cutting it up and I'm going to use pieces of that on the layout. Then what I did is, well, first I played a whole bunch and decided I didn't like the direction it was going, so I took it all apart and landed back here. I have a whole bunch of circles that I included on here, and I'm actually going to be showing tomorrow in the Quick Tip Tuesday video all the different ways that I make circles, so I'm not going to address that today. But if you're curious how I got the big one and the smaller ones and all that stuff, and what tools I like to use for that, you can be sure to check that video tomorrow. It'll be on Quick Tip Tuesday. So I did all those circles, and then I am topping it with 3 small pictures, and these pictures are actually only about 2 inches wide and just like 1.5 inches tall, maybe. I may be slightly off on that, but they're tiny pictures, but they all show him in a different way with the puppy. And so then I added the Scrabble letters above and below it with just a variety of cute words. Basically, I picked the words that I liked from the paper and hoped that the grouping around them would work well, and they did. And so I cut those out, put those above and below, and then I added a little subtitle, Me and You, and I picked that one specifically because it was a sticker already and it was round, and so that kind of went with the round theme that I already had going on. I was struggling a little bit here with my picture placement, trying to decide if I wanted them to be straight or slanted. I know some people always have to have them straight. I'm not that way. I kind of jump between the two, but ultimately I decided I liked the kind of clustered look I was getting with them being slanted and overlapping in the way that they were, and especially since they were already kind of clustered on top of those circles, I decided to carry on with that look. I am untucking the biggest one so that it really gets the most exposure of all 3 pictures. And then I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive to them so that they'll stick down better. The title I had picked out was from one of their cut apart pages, and it says "So Doggone Cute," and I thought it would just work really well because cute little boy, cute little puppy, can't go wrong there. So I fussy cut that out of one of the cut apart pages, so I didn't keep it in its original 4x6 size. I also am going to add in various die cuts from Doodlebug. These were a new feature. Actually, they just started doing them with this collection, and I was glad I had them because I've actually used all of the traditional icon stickers that they make. I used all of them already, literally, so I didn't have any of those left, so I was happy to have these little die cut pieces to use as embellishments throughout the layout. And what I'm going to do is work to make a visual triangle here. I kind of struggled a little bit because I was getting 4 places that I thought would work for embellishing. And by would work, I had room for it, but I knew it visually just wasn't working. And so I hemmed and hawed a little bit about how to get it to be a triangle instead of a rectangle or 4-pointed side. And ultimately I decided to use the title as 1 point and the subtitle as another point, and then the other corner there. And you can see I'm playing with also just the different die cuts, kind of trying to figure out what works. Sometimes I edit these moments out of the videos, but this video wasn't going to be too terribly long anyway, so I felt like I could kind of show you a little bit more into my process that's ever evolving, shall we say. And so that's where you're seeing me put stuff on, take it off, put it back on, take it off completely, kind of all over the place, but that's the reality. That's how I work. Kind of fly by the seat of my pants, if you will. So I am adding on all kinds of different little die cut pieces. This one's a little dog bowl. I added a newspaper. I added a paw print. I added a little puppy that kind of looked like our puppy. All these just to play up the scene, play up the theme, all those things. And some of them I am popping up with a foam adhesive. Some of them I am sticking down depending on what's already going on in that area, whether I want it to be flat or raised. And I am tucking them into each other and overlapping and doing all those things that you do when you're creating embellishment clusters. I also am going to go ahead and add a little sticker onto the bottom of one of the photos because I just felt like I needed a little bit more words. I know I have a lot of words on there already, but I needed something else, a punch of color and a little bit more on the pictures. So I added on a little best friends sticker there. And then I am, of course, going to add some enamel dots because what would a layout from me be without enamel dots? If you can find one, I'll be amazed. Almost all of them get it. And there, I decided to go with an orange color, and I'm just adding them again to that cluster of embellishments, those same 3 areas, to add one less final touch and texture. So here's some close-ups of the layout, and be sure if you're curious how I make my circles and what tools I use to check back tomorrow, and I will finish this video off with a good shot of the layout. Thanks so much for joining me today.